Imagine if you stopped working today, how long could you survive on your current savings? This question captures the essence of wealth. Robert Kiyosaki, an American investor, entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker, built a net worth of over $80 million. But he wasn't raised in a wealthy household. Like many, his family worked hard but struggled financially due to a lack of financial education. So, how did he become rich? In his bestseller Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert explains his journey. Born in Hilo, Hawaii in 1947, Robert attended a public school where both rich and less wealthy children studied. Growing up, he noticed the wealthier kids had things his family couldn't afford, like new toys and bikes. Curious, young Robert asked his father, a well-educated man with advanced degrees, "Dad, how can I become rich?" But his father, whom Robert calls Poor Dad, didn't have the answer. He encouraged Robert to study hard, get good grades, and find a safe, secure job. Though Robert's father earned a good income, his financial situation would eventually decline due to an emphasis on job security over financial literacy. On the other hand, Robert had a friend named Mike, whose father would later become his rich dad. Rich Dad wasn't wealthy initially, but he had a deep understanding of money. He began mentoring Robert and Mike, teaching them what it really takes to be financially successful. One of the first lessons Rich Dad taught was understanding the difference between an asset and a liability. If you want to be rich, he said, know this difference and focus on buying assets. Here's what it means. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out. Rich Dad pointed out that the main reason people struggle financially is that they don't know this distinction. While the wealthy accumulate assets, most people acquire liabilities that they mistakenly believe are assets. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine a person earning income from a job. Their expenses like food, clothes, entertainment, and transportation take up a large portion of their income. They may have liabilities such as mortgages, credit card debt, and loans, all of which pull money out of their pocket. By contrast, the wealthy focus on assets that generate passive income. Passive income is money earned without continuous active work, such as earnings from businesses, stocks, bonds, real estate, royalties, and other investments. While Poor Dad earned a good salary, his expenses always matched his income, leaving him with little opportunity to invest in assets. Over time, this led to an increase in his liabilities and eventually debt. Rich Dad, however, prioritized investing and minimizing liabilities. As a result, his assets consistently generated income that exceeded his expenses, and this surplus was reinvested, allowing his wealth to grow. This cycle of reinvestment allowed his assets to keep expanding, creating more income. Rich Dad's financial philosophy created a positive cycle, while Poor Dad's lack of financial literacy ultimately led to debt. The two men had very different perspectives on wealth. Poor Dad believed in finding a good company to work for, while Rich Dad encouraged finding a good company to buy. Poor Dad saw children as a reason not to pursue wealth, while Rich Dad saw wealth as essential for his children's future. Poor Dad advised avoiding risk. Rich Dad taught learning to manage it. One dad would say, "I can't afford it," while the other would ask, "How can I afford it?" Robert learned that the general population is often driven by two emotions, fear and desire, when it comes to money. Fear keeps many in a cycle of working to pay bills, while desire tempts them to seek more money for temporary joys. These emotions often lead people to seek a high-paying job, hoping it will resolve their fears. But true financial security, Rich Dad argued, doesn't come from a job alone. It comes from understanding and managing money. Unfortunately, schools rarely teach this kind of financial literacy, and without it, people can fall into the trap of working for money rather than learning how to make money work for them. Rich Dad's advice was to use your emotions to think, not think with your emotions. Most people see their profession as their primary source of income. For the wealthy, however, assets become the source. By applying these lessons, you can break free from the cycle of working for money and move towards making money work for you. So, if you were to stop working today, how long could you survive? Perhaps, with the right mindset, one day you'll be able to say, I no longer work for money, money works for me. Thank you for reading. If you enjoyed this summary and want more insights, like and subscribe for future content.